Hello and welcome to today's video where I'm going to be showing you how to create a risk register, and I'm going to be doing that in Microsoft Excel. Now the good thing is, what I'm going to be showing you here today is the processes involved, some of the data that you will want to capture, so you can use this with various different systems or softwares, anything that enables you to essentially create a table. So without further ado, let's get started. So first and foremost, when creating a risk register, it's a good idea to create some references for the project itself. So what I like to do is just to create a box at the top with the project name, who created it, and the date that the risk register was created. So it's some basic information that just gives some reference to anyone who will be using the risk register going forward. Now, of course, there's a lot of formatting you can do in Excel. I'm not going to spend a lot of time doing that here today, but just to give you an example of what this may even look like, and some of the things you can do is just, you know, there's some things I've just done there, but that's the kind of thing you can do. And let's call this project creating a risk register demo. And then today's date would be the 25th of May. So you get the idea. But it just gives that reference as I was talking about before. So that's the kind of first step. The next thing I would recommend doing is going through all of the different columns and creating some of the data that you need to be capturing in your risk register. So these are the columns that I would first recommend. And once I've gone through those, I will talk about some of the information that you want to capture in them, and I'll also talk about some of the features of Excel that you can use to make this process a little bit easier. So first and foremost, I would recommend giving every risk you have a unique identifier, and that's useful if you want to refer to them in the future, or you're talking to a particular stakeholder about a particular risk and you don't want to reference the name. Second would be a risk name. We want a risk description. We are going to want an impact level, and I'll talk about why you want that later. You'll want a probability level. And if you're working in Excel, when you go to the top here and navigate over to the column boundaries, if you double click on the left hand side of your mouse, it will kind of expand to the size that you need for the text that's present. Or you obviously can select all the columns you want to change the width of, and then you can drag to get the width a set level, and that can obviously make it a lot more kind of friendly to read. Equally, I like to wrap text, and what that will essentially do is, you might have seen that in cell B4, is it will just drop the text into the next line if it kind of surpasses the width of the column. So just a few tips there. So probability level, we want a priority level. And another thing while we're going through this, if you want this template, then do reach out to me via email, drop a comment in the comment section below asking for this template, and I'll send it to you free of charge. So just do that if you don't want to create this yourself. So you want a status column, so the status of each risk. You want any mitigation notes. You would like an owner for each risk, and any date that it's closed. So they're the kind of main columns that you're going to, and data points you're going to want to capture. I'm just going to give borders here to make it into a table view. I'm also going to add some grey fill color just to make it look more like a table. Now, once you've done that, your risk register is getting a little bit better. You're nearly there. But now we can walk through some of the data points you want to capture. So risk ID, as I mentioned earlier, that is essentially, that can be anything you like, but something that's unique to the risk for reference purposes. So we could call this risk 1, we could call this risk 2, or it could be something like a unique number. So hashtag 001, hashtag 002, you get the point. But you can obviously have a risk ID however you like. With the way Excel works, if you were to create this kind of syntax and select both cells, if you then hover over the bottom right of the second cell and start dragging down, Excel is going to give you, as you can see there, it's going to give you all of the risk numbers in the chronological order, which is one of the benefits of Excel. So we've got 17 risks now in this risk register in terms of IDs. Risk name. So this should be something kind of brief and simple that just outlines what the risk is about. So let's just say supplier low stock levels. It's completely made up, but it's just an idea of the type of thing that you may want to include. So a description. So we could put here something like supplier A notifies on 24th of May, stock levels are below next order requirement. Again, just an example of the kind of information you want to capture here. Now, impact level and probability level and priority level, these all three can be kind of created in tangent and together, so that you know what risks to work on and what risks should be of priority to address first. And the way you can do this is by working with like a scale. So you could have, another good idea is putting at the top of your risk register what the numbers mean. So on our scale that we're going to create now, we can have scale 1 is low, and if I can spell, and I've done it again, and 5 being high. So for instance, when we go into the impact level and the probability level, a risk with a low impact and a low probability should have a low priority. It's not something that we should be looking to do. But at the same time, a risk that has a high impact and a high probability should be prioritized, because obviously there's going to be a big impact to if that happens, and it's likely to happen on that scale. So that's what you want to do. And here's a really good trick in terms of the impact and probability level, is you can set up, so if you highlight the column, right click and click on format cells, then you can change it to a number. So it will only accept a number in that particular column, and you can see that's updated there. What you'd need to do is you would need to change the decimal places to 0. But another thing you can do is you can do what's called or known as data validation. So what you want to do here is, I've got this blank at the moment. What this essentially does is it limits the options and the choices for whoever's working in the risk register. So this is going to be our scale. So this is the data validation list we're going to reference. So what you want to do is obviously create this second tab, list what you want the options to be, go back into the column of where you want that selection, and you want to basically highlight all the cells where you want the options to be available. Then you want to click on, I believe it is data, and you want to navigate to the data validation button, click data validation, and then when it says against the validation criteria, you want to select list, and you want the source. So click list, go down to source, left click again, go into the data validation and highlight all of the entries that you're looking. So what you're basically saying is you want to create a list option, and you want it to pull the information from this section here. Hit OK, and what's going to happen now is you have a drop down option, and the user of the Excel sheet can only select items within that in that list, and it just makes it a lot easier to work with. So for instance, I'm just going through, and you would do the same thing with probability. So do the same thing for impact and probability. So let's do that again. Highlight all the cells, data validation, click the data validation button, go to list. For the source, left click into the source button, box I should say, then scroll down to the bottom here, click in the new tab, and you'll see that's the new source. The source is this sheet, and then you need to left click and just select all of the cells, and that's going to reference there. Click OK, and again we have the options to select the different numbers from the list. and you can obviously drag it down if you want them all to be the same, etc. Hit save. Always remember to save your work. You don't want to lose your work. I've done that plenty of times. Now, next, I'm actually going to bold these to make them a little bit more legible. So highlight bold. The next thing is the priority level, and what you want to do here is you want to set up the priority to essentially do some kind of calculation between these two. I will give you a valuable formula in a moment, but we're going to leave the priority level as blank for now. But I'm going to show you that formula in a moment. Status. So again, this is something you could potentially set up data validation for. But the kind of information you want here are open, work in progress, closed, complete, closed, incomplete, those kind of things. They're the kind of statuses you may be looking to add here. Of course, and as I've just mentioned, you can set this up as data validation as well. So I'm actually going to get rid of that order there. So here's the, if you wanted to have these as the data validation options or the list, again, you know what you need to do now. You go to data validation and we'll just select list and we'll go in here. And again, we now have these options. Now, mitigation notes. So essentially, what is the owner or what is somebody going to be doing against each risk? So that could be in the context of this example risk, the supplier low stock levels. We're going to say product manager to contact backup supplier to seek inventory. Completely made up, but that's the kind of thing you might want there. Again, double click at the top to expand that out, or if you wanted to keep that column at the same width but want to see all the text and make it more legible, just be sure to rep it, and that will give it that kind of view. So the owner, let's call that's Jim. This is Jim's work, so we'll put Jim in here, and let's say Jim has contacted. Let's say he's gone ahead, so it's open. So this will be passed over to Jim. And when he's worked on the risk and he has finished, he will put close complete. He managed to contact the supplier and he's going to close it off on the 25th of May. So that is basically an example of this risk register. And these are the kind of key columns you're going to want to include. This is the kind of information, and that's how you kind of want to fill it out. Now, I did mention with the priority level, you could add a formula into this column, and what that will do is that will basically analyze the impact and the probability and give you a priority level, again with the same scale. So 1 being a low priority, that's not a risk that we should focus our attention to, and 5 being, this is a risk we really should focus on. So I'm actually going to go ahead and open up a risk register that I created earlier, and I'm going to steal the formula from it. So I'm going to copy and paste it, and then I'll quickly walk you through it, and then I'll show you that example as well. So I've messed that up. I need to copy this. I think I got it. I'm going to put that in here. So what I just need to do now is I just need to remap the cells, because at the moment it's looking in the wrong places. So what we'd need this to be is this to be E9. So what this is essentially doing is if 2 times 2 is greater than 0, so that should be F there. Let me just finish off the formula first so I don't confuse myself. So right, here we go. Let me just double check that actually. I don't want to get this wrong because this can be very valuable for you. So D9, E9, D9, E9, D9, E9, E, okay. So EF, EF, excellent. Okay, so what this is essentially saying, and I'm going to drag this down, is if the impact times by the probability is greater than 0, then it's going to return a 0, I believe. So let me just test that. Oh, maybe I can't input because of my data validation. If we had in the data validation 0, then what this would essentially do is it would leave this as blank. So if there's no impact, no probability, well, it's not going to be a risk. So it wouldn't, you would have no priority. But instead, anything above that is going to times the two together, and it's going to give you some kind of priority. So as you can see here, risk 6 would be the risk with the most priority because it's the highest number. So this is the kind of thing that you can do here. You can have a look at this formula. I'll drop that in the description as well below, and you can use that in your kind of risk register if you're creating in Excel. It's a useful formula to use, and it can just give you that quick priority. And another thing I'd just like to quickly mention before we finish up is you can also set up some conditional formatting. So you could create some cell rules that if a cell has, let me just select all of here. So select all the cells you want it to apply to, conditional formatting, highlight cell rules, anything greater than, say, 8, we want to fill with red text. There you go. So they're the kind of things you can do. You can set up conditional formatting to make whoever's using the risk register easy to use, and they can quickly see things that stick out, and it can give them some insight into what needs to be done. So as I say, if you want this risk register, then do drop a comment down in the section below, and I will reply to you. I can send you this risk register over email. And I did show you earlier another risk register that I was working on, and it's essentially the same thing. It's in slightly different formatting, but I've also included a scale here, which is quite useful to work with. The reason I didn't show this to start with is I wanted to show you how to kind of build it out yourself. But this is just, kind of a finished version of what I've just kind of created, and we've got this kind of scale in here, which is kind of useful to understand. Obviously, anything with a score of 25 on the priority is something that really needs to be addressed. And as I say, you can't have a 0 because every risk has, at least some impact and some probability. So I hope this was useful. Please do like the video if it was, and do subscribe to my channel, and you'll be able to watch more videos like this. I'm going to be releasing a lot more, so do hit that notification button as well, and you'll be notified of when I do so. In the meantime, have an excellent day and take care.